Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Fallout 4 with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome back to Spectacle Island. When we left off, we had just claimed this island as our own by defeating the rampaging Mirelocks, and now it's time to start making this island a true fortress, a true place we look upon with pride rather than just looking at it and thinking, what an absolute dump, as is the state at the moment. We have our first little residential area sorted out, as much as it does look a little bit like a labour camp, and we have our supply of food, water and power. So ultimately, we're actually doing pretty darn well. We even now have 9 settlers, a lot of them simply wandering around, because there's absolutely nothing to do here, but at least they're here nonetheless. So, what's our next step? We have the poorer looking region already almost sorted, so why not make somewhere that looks a little bit fancy? And I think we can do that somewhere near the coast. This coastline here is very flat already, and with these 2 raised hills, I think it'll be really easy to build something rather nice, with a penthouse and everything. Now, this will mostly be yet another residential area, and probably the last one we need. But we could also make it part of a market. If we wall it off, we could wall off the entire beach section around here and build it up to be a nice place for trading.
Yeah.
Hello there, random settlers. So let's get started with that. So, first things first, how are we going to start the bottom of the structure? We could go with prefabs, honestly, at this point. We could use prefabs to make a pretty decent looking bottom part to this. And I think we'll make it mostly out of metal to make it look a bit more distinct from the other areas. How about we have a doorway? And then have several of these. We could have several of these, then that would be a nice flooring pattern, but it would also give the illusion that there's some support struts because of the metal beams on each of the edges. And of course we can build stuff underneath it later on to make it look like it's not floating in the air, as much as it is floating in the air. And actually, having something completely in the air wouldn't be too out of the question in this game, as you can build up and then destroy what's underneath, and that's absolutely fine, according to the game logic. So, we could do something like that. Except for, of course, replacing some of the pieces with corners and such. And then simply build up from there, having this as a bit of a tower. I think that wouldn't be a terrible idea, actually. So let's replace the bottom sections and carry on. Well, that looks pretty good for the ground floor. This way, it looks like we have 2 major ways up to the next floor, and we also have enough space that we can start putting down things like the reception area, possibly a seating area, some vending machines, everything you'd expect to see in a hotel. As it dawns on me, we are building a hotel at this stage, which I am completely fine with. Another reason why these shack stairwells are fantastic is that it puts down a new hitbox for the next floor, as that's one of the big problems with prefabs. They don't really play nice with a lot of other stuff, so this shouldn't be all that bad. Also, the corner pieces here, although they do reveal a bit of the inside, which I'm not too happy with, honestly, they do add a lot of shape to the structure. It makes it look more fortified and planned out, like it can actually support some weight, unlike a certain other structure over there, which actually is growing on me. Every time I look at it, it looks horrible, it looks run down, but it suits the whole feel of the island, which is just nice. So, what kind of flooring should we have? I'm thinking wood. Not only because we have less steel than we have wood, but it does look nice, and I could have stored that then, whoops-a-daisy. It's just habit now. I've scrapped for like 30 minutes straight, trying to scrap everything I can possibly on this island, and there's still more to do. There's just so much scrap around here that it is a bit difficult. Now, with this, I've already got an idea. Now, we're going to put down a shack foundation on top of here, if we can. Oh, please go in a little bit further, a little bit... No. Okay, and that's where the balcony is going to be. That's where the first balcony is going to be, although that did not go on well. So perhaps I'll need to add something else, but I want a support strut to add a balcony for one of the first bedrooms, essentially. Really hoping we have enough space. We may need to extend this by 1 block just to make sure that's okay, and we do have the resources to do so. So let's carry on and hope we do have the resources and I'm not just lying. This is going to completely change the shape of the hotel, but I think it's probably the best bet for making easily to build rooms, which actually look a little bit more natural, as the prefabs kind of go by rules of building that the rest of the structure actually doesn't. So it can be combined to make some really weird shapes, and actually quite efficient room spaces. So let's see how that looks on the outside. We could also build them on the bottom as well. And yeah, that will actually work just fine. It looks a little bit insane right now, but that's purely because we haven't done the rest. So let's store these, and let's do the bottom layer as well. Okay, that one was a little bit of a weird one there, but we can always alter that later. I kind of forgot that the bottom here is made out of almost completely prefabs. All the way on the top simply wasn't. So where is it? There is the doorway. One of the big problems I was running into was simply that we couldn't add a doorway or any form of door to the outside of the building, simply because the doorways themselves are bigger than wood walls and bigger than most metal walls, which means they simply don't play nice when you're trying to stack them onto each other. Now, this doesn't work because... Oh, because once again the levels are different. Okay, so we need to work around that as well. A lot of little problems, but slowly we're getting the basic shape together. The basic foundation of the hotel/tower is now complete. So essentially, each of these extended areas on the sides are actually small rooms, as the doorway leads into a hallway end, which is just enough space for a light source, a storage, and a bed, possibly some paintings or something, to make each of them look a little bit more individual from the other. And of course this goes all the way around to the back, which means there's a huge foundation for us to mess around for the top section. Now the top section is where I actually want it to look a little bit unique. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. Half of me kind of wants a floating segment only being held by very, very subtle, perhaps like these things, like the bridges or something, so it looks like it's been built and then destroyed, and then the very framework is just about holding the top section still. I'm not sure yet, so let's get to work on that, and as soon as I'm happy with a basic design, I will share it with you all.
Tell me you must have time now.
I can think of better things to get excited about.
Oh, that's so. No, I will not let you derail me. I beg to become a synth for a reason. For science. To be able to make real progress in studying the medical arts. I have had a breakthrough. Using a new strain of mutfruit, I have discovered a way to greatly improve the restorative properties of Stimpaks. I realize this is not earth-shaking, but it means that inspiration does exist.
So apparently Curie started to like me even more because I was doing certain types of building. I'm not quite sure exactly what actions cause this in the game, but it seems like every character does have things they like you doing, some things they don't like you doing, and some of them are just almost hidden. So I have no idea what caused this, but yay.
Get lost in thought too.
Congratulations!
I know it wasn't easy, but you did it.
I find my head full of notions. Experiments. Many will fail, but maybe I will make more discoveries. And you have given me this capacity. And beyond that, so much more. The world is full of life, possibilities. You are very dear to me. My close friend.
Friends
and
and...
I hope I can return the many favors you have given me.
Ooh, rather than flirt, now it's a romance option.
What we have between us is deeper than friendship.
My very first thought in all this excitement was I must tell you. It wouldn't feel real until I shared it with you. You know, you mean very much. Oh, I am so terrible at this.
I've got to admit, it's a lot less romantic considering we're both still holding weapons, and her weapon is essentially the severed claws of Deathclaws. It's a little bit disheartening. Toy with her.
I mean very much what? To the Commonwealth? Heck, to the world?
No, I was wrong. You're the one that's terrible. To tease me such.
I love you, Curie.
And I love you.
Having reached the highest level of affinity with Curie, you have gained the Combat Medic perk.
The world seems so very bright. And I cannot wait to see what becomes of this.
Sleeping while you have a romantic companion nearby temporarily grants the Lover's Embrace perk. Oh. Okay, so we're now at that level, apparently. But seriously, what's that? The bonus. Let's go and find it. Thanks to your relationship with Curie, once a day you heal 100 hit points if you fall below 10%. That is actually really good. I assume it just happens as long as Curie is my companion then. Well, apparently flirting with Curie paid off. We have a really powerful perk. Well done you. And apparently another perk if we, find a bedroom. Anyway, back to building. I've just been out and actually started scrapping some other places, and I found a neat plasma hunting rifle, which is kind of weird, and I now have the resources to actually carry on. We're slowly getting there, and this is starting to look really industrial, but also really imposing. I think we need to finish off the next layer very soon, and I may, now I'm looking at it, I may actually remove those stairs and have that level as the final level, as we can easily make a balcony both here and then on top there. I think if it gets any taller, it's going to look a little bit ridiculous. We could always make a guard tower later, which is much, much taller. So that, I think, is the new plan. It's weird how plans change when you go from one place, come back and just spend time doing something completely different. Seriously, I think I was scrapping for about 40 minutes then. It takes a while to get resources in this game sometimes, even with all of the scrapping stations I have in all of my settlements. Which I do need here as well, I think, actually, since that gives us random junk items every day. A lot more resources is always good. So, let's fully remove this, as I probably won't be using one of these again soon. Let's put down some floors. And that can go 2 forward. Now, how are we going to make this a balcony? We could do the very easy option, which would simply be to fence this off and then... Ow! That's going to hurt. Never mind. Thank you, buggy cliff sides. But yeah, we could either add a doorway there, or we could extend it a little bit out and use the... Where are you? The walls which actually go outwards. I don't know what they're called. There we are. The shack wall and roof. These on the outside. That would give it more size. I'm not sure. Let's see which one looks best, and then we'll come to an actual decision. The hotel is almost done. All that now remains is to hook this place up to some power and start adding lights and, well, beds and stuff, honestly. We have this there, have that there, that there. We can't put one there, sadly, but that might be enough. Which one of these actually has the sides completely done? Okay, like that. I mean, that is pretty nice, and of course it's then very, very reminiscent of our main building, so everything's got a very similar style to it. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure about it, honestly. Of course, then we'd also need the corners here to come back in. We could add another corner or something. Okay, I'm not sure how we're going to do this, so let's have a little tinker around and sort this out. A bit of a change of plan, as always. I've decided to make a literal penthouse, so it's going to be a completely different structure, essentially being held up by the bridge here, and only accessible via stairs attached to this level. It's a little bit odd, I admit, but at least it's a bit higher quality than the rest of the rooms, which are essentially storage containers. So I think I would rather sleep here at least. Anyway, then let's sort this out and make it so it actually looks like a proper building, or at least a proper area to sleep. There's a small wall here, which we can use to plug up this gap. There we go. We go in. Oh, look, it's all lovely and nice, but not quite big enough. I mean, we could probably fit a bed in here, as we're only going to have one bed. So actually, maybe it is big. Oh, no, it's definitely big enough. I thought there was less space than there was. It's a real shame that's the best bed we've got. I would like a better bed than this, but oh well. We also have to pretend that you can have your own curtains and stuff, because this is really obvious. It's not exactly somewhere hidden. But for now, we'll leave it as it is, and we'll consider that in the future. We could... Actually, I don't know, what could we do? We could make it so only one of these is windows like this one, and have these two the other version of this. Actually, that's probably what I will do, so let's have a look at that. Walls? Let's see, here. Like these ones, for instance, which are actually completely blocked out. Okay, let's destroy that. Again, purely because I'm not going to use it for a while, if ever. There we are, and then do the same for this one. Which is a lot more trippy, considering the bed was just resting on it. Ooh, can we not put this in? Why not? Your mouse has to be so in the correct position sometimes. Okay, there we are. And then you can have a oceanside view. Actually, that's pretty nice. Okay, now we've blocked off most of the ways. It's actually pretty nice, particularly if we put the bed perhaps in a corner a bit more. Or just on its side a bit more, so it's a bit less obvious from the outside. A bit of privacy never hurt anyone. Roof, and... what do we have here then? Any just plain metal? Not the best plain metal in the world. Because who doesn't love holes in the ceiling? Though, honestly, that's kind of the Fallout way, isn't it? Doors. White door, because why not? There we are, the penthouse suite. Pretend you're in an actual house, rather than horrible shacks in a mediocre hotel. That's going to be the selling point, of course. So, the question is then, what do we want to do up here, if anything? Since we still have the stairs up here. I mean, we could actually replicate this. We could have this 4 times. And that wouldn't be difficult to do at all. Or we could keep it as one special housing piece there. Not too sure, but okay, so now then, let's start sorting out the innards of this place, which means we do need some power, so let's see what we've got. Power, and then we want the conduits, and then just the regular power pylons, which I don't think bleed power. I know that these bleed power, I don't know if these do. I'm hoping they don't, but I'm really not sure. So, the logic we're going with is going around the entire island's edge, so... with that in mind, pop that down there. Can that get there? Yes, it can, okay. And then we'll go all the way around the edge of this way around until we get to the hotel, which looks a little bit odd, I admit. And then we can start adding lights and stuff so it's not so dark and dreary in there. We may need some more copper, but actually I know exactly where to get that, so that's not too bad. After spending some quality time with your special someone, you feel completely relaxed and ready for anything, plus 15% experience earned for a limited time. I may have completely forgot about this when I came here, since all I wanted to do is sleep so I could activate some of the merchants. Next time I should be paying attention. Also, we have a lot of stuff to sell. I may have left this here to sell and completely forgot about it all. The hotel should now be hooked up to the power supply, and as a result we can start building inside these little rooms, making each a little bit more comfortable for the residents, including a bed, a light, some storage, everything you would expect from a rundown horrible hotel in the middle of the radioactive wastelands. I've also finally did the logical thing, and I've moved this little penthouse room, I guess, miniature building to the opposite side of the hotel, meaning that instead of looking upon the island, you now get an ocean view and far more privacy, so that looks a lot better. And as such, let's get started on building up the rooms. And so we begin. Now, one thing we do have to note is we don't really have that much space to actually add items, but it shouldn't be too bad considering we don't have that many items to actually add. There's not really that many things which suit a hotel room, so we'll try and add everything we can and hopefully fill the space neatly and make it so it's easy to replicate in all the other rooms. So let's start off with the most important thing, of course, which is a bed. There we are, right up against the wall, maximum space preserved. The second thing, I would like a bedside table of some kind, and that would be the biggest we can possibly add. So probably this one. I wouldn't like that, because it's a bit too claustrophobic. Oh, there we are. I do wish that the controls were a bit less sensitive. You always overshoot things, or at least I always do. And then we add light so we can see what we're actually doing. Perhaps we should have done this first. And as always, I'm opting for the ceiling fan. There we are. That looks infinitely better as soon as you add that. Everything's lit up nicely and we can actually see all the details of our endeavours. Now what else can we add? What else can we add? What is there to actually add? That's the question. Furniture-wise, we could add a television. Now, that would be expensive, as it would be costing us aluminum and other such things in every single room, and of course it even requires power, but that would make the whole place look a bit more alive, so sure, why not? Not quite sure what you can see in the old television these days, but I guess it's better than nothing. There we are. Which means we need chairs. How about we add a couple of the really basic chairs, these ones here, so they can do with them what they will. One there, one there. Maybe 3 chairs? Would that be pushing it a little bit? Maybe... Yeah, let's just stick with 2. Stick with 2 chairs. Honestly, right now, that looks pretty nice. Okay, continuing onwards then. What else do we have? Container-wise, we could add a lockbox just for a bit of safety for the people here. I mean, if you're going to leave stuff in a hotel, might as well have it in the lockbox. There we are. As always, I just like it there. It just looks neat and tidy and in the right place. Anything else we actually want to add here? I don't think so, but let's have a quick look. Oh, decorations, of course. I mean, that's a fairly obvious one. Have a basic mat if we can. Now, if we add this first, we could have put all the stuff on top, but I don't really want a mat which dominates the entire room. How about something like that? Just simple rug as soon as you come in, or perhaps even here. That would actually look really nice there. Okay, let's move the chairs for a second. Excuse me. No, let's not move the entire building. That would be bad. Pop that there. Then this goes here. Then this goes here. I'm being serious though, that actually looks really nice. I am surprised, I've got to be honest. Next step, we don't want to add a flag. We don't really want to add wall-mounted decorations like that. Now, paintings would probably work really well because they're just what you expect to see when you go to a hotel, so that looks a bit distracting. We could add it here to make this area look a bit less bland. So, what do we have? We have the ship, the lighthouse, lily pads, which look quite nice, honestly, then various forms of cats and animals and all sorts of stuff like that. Oh, that there looks really good, though. No, but it's in the same area again. Too bad it's going there. What else do we have? The more stuff like this we add as well, the more happiness we produce, so it's not terrible if we go over the top. And I think we'll add an ashtray just because I have a feeling that a lot of people smoke in these post-apocalyptic nuclear times. Could add a radio. Looks a bit too busy, and why can't you add it on the bottom shelf there? That looked really nice. Oh, we have this over here as blank space. We have a huge trash bin. Oh, of course, a regular trash can. And we put the ashtray next to that, I suppose. In case they want to use it. Okay, that looks really good. Okay, that's how we're going to do every room. So each room will look like this. Now, since that's done, we'll just leave that as it is, and we'll go downstairs, and let's see if we can start work on the stuff down here. So, okay, main secretary area. Not sure. Vending machines. Okay, let's just make sure the power actually goes down here first. There we are, the power's now working, so let's add some vending machines. Okay, the most important, let's face it, is the Nuka-Cola machine. Now, where can I put that? It's a little bit bigger than I actually thought it was, so let's just quickly store these lights, and let's see if we can perhaps put it at the very back there. Can we? Maybe we'll use both sides then as vending machines, as there's far too many different types of vending machine, and they're just far too big. Okay, milk and cola, so essentially drinks over here. Let's add some lighting. We could go with what I was just using. That's okay to me, although we could probably just have one here. Put us back in the workshop. It's a little bit too dark. No, let's go with 3, unless that would be better? No. The lights in this game do not give you very much light, I have to say. Okay, then, in that case we're going with 3. Then we'll go over here, and we'll see what else there is. Of course, the power doesn't actually go here at the moment, so let's sort that out as well. I haven't yet completely hooked up the entire building, as it's freaking huge. Okay, so we have a cigarette machine. We'll put that there. And then we also have the ice cooler, which is pretty much all we have. Now, isn't there a decoration you put on the side? I think it's probably all under wall decorations then. Miscellaneous, which I think is like a food thing. There we go, the Eatotronic. Okay, I think that one should go with these though, since this is essentially food and drink, mostly. So food, milk, cola, cigarettes, ice. Okay, that's all we'll possibly need. So then all we need to do now is sort out this area, the secretary area, and then repeat the pattern of the room to all the other rooms, and then that's pretty much done. And there's a lot of stuff here now for happiness of the settlement. I will say, this place, the island, has a lot more room to actually build in terms of the maximum size, so I'm really happy that I've chose here after all. But I'm afraid right now I am all out of time. All of that scrapping and building has actually took a ridiculous amount of time, but it has been so much fun. Fallout has a way of draining time from you so much, particularly when you're doing the more odd elements of the game, like building or scrapping or just exploring. So thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed today's episode, then of course, likes, favourite, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Fallout 4 is a series you wish to see continued in the future. Thank you again for watching, and goodbye.